Hello and welcome to tonight's show. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show will begin in 5 minutes. Let's make some noise! Let's make some noise!
do this!
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ritchie. It is so very good. Can you believe it? We finally made it. We are here. We are live. It's good to be back. It's been one heck of a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, I can't. So I'm not sure if everyone can hear Ritchie. If so, then just give us thumbs up. There we go. There we go. It sounded like you had like a really good message for all of us. Would you mind to repeat it, please?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been on, and there's been a lot of delays, life events, situations, technical difficulties, and the whole bit. But now here we are, and we're back. Glad to be here. That you guys are out there, audience, tuning in, and just leave us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from, who you are, country, whole bit, and can't wait to chat with you.
Yes, and tell us if you're here for the first time, or if you are, an old soul and have joined us again. Either way, it's absolutely phenomenal to have you here. And we are going to see if we can still do this. It's been so long
Yes.
that, everything feels a little bit like, let's dust it off and let's get the show on the road. We have a lot in store for you today because, as you know, there's not only this episode, but we are also having another episode straight after. So I hope you've got a little bit of time, you're sitting comfortable, and let's get this show on the road. If you know anyone who is not watching who may want to, please do share and invite others to come along on the ride. The more the merrier. And and what have you been up to? Let us know. Tell us in the comments where you've been, what you've done, how you enjoyed the time off from us, and what you've been shooting. And there is Angela from the sunny south coast of England. So glad to see you back here as well. It's great to have you. Thank you so much.
Hello.
And I also wanted to say hello to Enrico. He's also here from Italy. I'm sure it's also really nice and warm where he is. I'm again in the winter here. I just had a brief break from it, but it's pretty cold here tonight. Anyway,
and of course, here I am in the heat of Arizona, in the Arizona desert. So I'm over here sweating and everything. And
yes.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I've got my winter face on together, in the same color as my jersey, and and there's Ritchie there in his t-shirt. I'm not jealous at all, not at all. But regardless, we are talking about storytelling, and we thought we get you a little bit, chatty, and start out with a statement: a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, is it? What do you think? Do you think that stands as obviously a very used expression, but we thought it's a nice introduction to our storytelling, just to get us back into the swing of things. It's been a while since we did the theme show and what we talked about. So we will do a bit of a recap. But if you have any thoughts on this, then let us know in the comments. Let's get your fingers nice and warmed up and give them a practice round to all the comments that we hope you have in store for us. And questions, whatever it is, shoot it our way. We have a bit of a longer section towards the end of the show where we can answer all your questions. But obviously, if you've got any other comments or questions in the interim, especially when we're looking at images, don't shy away and let us know what you think.
I've always heard that every picture tells a story. Everyone, how strong of a story it tells is up to the photographer. So I would say that there are some pictures that are worth 1,000 words, but those 1,000 words aren't very like strong or cohesive. But it's the photographer's job to make it say something a little more profound or bold or something like that.
Not just blah 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 1,000 times. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, totally. And we've got quite a lot of those images, I think, that we received from you guys. If you haven't caught our premiere of the viewer slideshow yesterday, you can still watch it. We have already aired and presented all the images that were submitted. And in good old sooc.live tradition, we will be looking at some of them this evening in a bit more detail. So I think there's a couple of good stories waiting and coming our way.
Awesome.
So, should we do this? I don't think that anybody else has anything to say about this profound saying, but we will have a look. First of all, we're going to recap a little bit. It's been a while, so maybe not everyone may have seen the last show, or not everyone can remember exactly what we were talking about.
It may have been such a long time that it's
sorry, I think
out of sight, out of mind,
again,
kind
Ritchie.
of thing. Oh, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I think since it's been so long, sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind. You don't really remember what everything was. So let's give it a quick recap.
Yes, we will, and then we will look at images that you've submitted and the recipes, and we will check all of that out. And not to forget that there is a subscription up for grabs, so stick around for that and see who the lucky winner is today. Ritchie, just 1 second. We seem to have a bit of a sound issue coming from your side, so we'll just quickly check that. Of course, it's the first time back. Nothing to keep us on our toes, like a little bit of sound issue. We just love that much when we're live streaming.
There's always these little gremlins.
Yeah, so I think there's a bit of a scramble in the line. So we apologize for that. And we apologize while we are busy apologizing about technical issues, about the long wait and us having to reschedule times. Doing that, but we just really didn't have a choice. So thank you so much for everyone to be patient and to come back and be with us today, and we hope you can forgive us and that it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. And also that just reminds me that we have a poll running today. So if you haven't caught the link yet, it's in the comment section. So you can go and follow that link and see there are 3 poll questions that we will ask you. We will look at the results at the end of the show. And before, you miss out on any of those, you can go and share your views on the different questions that we have for you. But I think we're ready. And I think
do I sound better now?
I think so, yes. You sound very good to me. Let's go and do this. Let's go and
let's do this.
Let's have a look. Like I said, we're going to recap first, and we're going to have a look at some awesome images. And then we have quite a bit of time for some Q&A. So I hope that you all have brought some questions so that we can have a bit of a, interactive second part of the show. So before we jump into this, though, we have a bit of news. So we've been away for such a long time that so much happened that we thought we need to, just, dedicate a little bit of time to that. Because it's been so long that even Fujifilm had a summit where they announced a couple of new products. So we just wanted to keep you in the loop in case you're on the lookout for a new camera. There has been an upgrade to the XS series. They've released an XS20, which might be quite interesting if you're looking for a small, handy travel camera. I was able to use it last weekend for a quick spin around. And you can even use it with some recipes. There are a couple more slots that you can save recipes to, so that could be quite interesting for you. But that's not all. I think what might be a little bit more interesting for our viewership is the long-awaited upgrade to the Fujifilm app. Now, I've used it quite a bit, but I'm not quite sure what your thoughts on it are, Ritchie.
Well, I have it. It requires you to make sure your firmware is up to date on all your cameras, right? I've only updated the firmware on one so far. I just haven't had time to do it on the rest. So I guess once I update the firmware on the rest of my cameras, then I'll be able to do it. But it's only for X-Trans 4 or 5 and the newest GFX. So it's not going to work with all the Fuji cameras, just the newer ones.
Yes, that is. Make sure that you try it out. I was really impressed. I really enjoy the new interface and also the functionality. It's nice and snappy. So don't miss out on that one. But that isn't everything. Fujifilm also released a new lens. And don't we always like new lenses? And this one seems to be really interesting. I think a lot of us are looking forward to this one. It's an XF8 millimeter. And it's an f3.5, so that's pretty cool. It's water resistant, and it's promising. Well, I'm very excited. I have not seen it. I haven't held it. I don't know what it's like. I just saw, like probably many of you, a couple of sample pictures. But I think that could be quite a goodie.
Yeah, I think if you're a landscape photographer that likes to do dramatic, or if you're an architectural photographer, real estate photographer, or something like that.
I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure what the problem is, but it seems to, your sound seems to come and go, unfortunately. So
I will leave and come right back. So Natalie will continue without me, and I'll be right back.
Feedback from the. Okay, so now it's apparently it's my fault. Okay. Now I've chased him away. Alrighty, but I'm sure he will be right back just now. But for whatever reason, I wasn't able to hear him, so I'm sorry about that. Fun and games, isn't it? Just as we want to announce that there has also been an update to his app. So I'll wait a second, and then when he gets back, he can also talk about it. But that was, the news from Fujifilm. As far as the Fuji X Weekly app is concerned, it's been running, a bit faster on the iPhone so far, but now the Android version. Hello, Ritchie. You're just in time.
I'm back.
To explain.
Hopefully my audio is a little better.
Yes, it sounds really good now. Thank you for going and coming. Let's hope that sorts it out. But I was just saying that you have an update to your app now also for Android.
So the app was updated for both Apple and Android, but the functionality that was updated is different on both versions. So on Android, we finally now have widgets. It's been available for Apple for a little while, but now for those who are using it on Android devices, you can let the app take over your home screen, which it's done on my phone. It may be some of yours out there, but yeah, widgets are so much fun and really open up the app to do a lot more things. And so definitely give the widgets a try if you're on Android.
Yes,
And then for
spam your phone with all sorts of Fuji X Weekly widgets. It's a lot of fun. It looks really cool.
Yep. And then for Apple, it was added support for Spanish language. So if your phone is set to Spanish language, the app will automatically translate into Spanish for you.
Okay, fantastic. I won't do that because then I wouldn't understand what it says, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who will find that fantastic. So great stuff. It's awesome to see that there's always new updates coming to your app. Thank you.
Well, thanks.
We also have some other news, or rather an update about our first SOC meetup that happened in Mannheim while I was in Germany. So I just wanted to, report back that we had a bit of a walkabout. We met up with a couple of viewers and had a really nice afternoon walking around, taking some street photography. And then also, we sat and chatted for quite a bit about all sorts of photography and non-photography related topics. So I made a quick video for you. So let's have a quick look. And welcome to Mannheim. And that was it. A quick spin
That
around.
looked like a lot of fun.
Yes, we did have fun, and those were just a few of the many images. If you want to see some more, you can, follow Thorsten Scholz and also Andreas on their Instagram. We can share those links. They are busy sharing a lot of the images that they shot there. It's really nice to see so many different views of my old hometown. So thank you so much for doing that. It's been really a lot of fun, and I hope we can do more of those and other ones, maybe also somewhere else, maybe in the States sometime.
Yeah, maybe. It looked like a lot of fun that you guys had, and it's so great to meet up. And what we're trying to do here is kind of build community, because that's really what's important in life, is getting to know each other and making friends, and having that human interaction, because so much of this stuff in the photography world is distance online. You never meet up with anybody, so to actually see somebody in person and go take some pictures, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, it was. It definitely was, and I want to do it again soon. But anyway, let's jump into our recap of what we actually talked about quite some time ago, 2 months ago, I think it almost is. We were looking at storytelling and how you can use your photography to tell stories. Obviously, that is through recipes. But before we jumped into that, we shared some other tips and tricks and what you need to focus on in storytelling to get meaningful images. But Sorry,
Yeah, and
Ritchie.
we kind of defined what storytelling photography is, what that genre is, how to do it. And so I would say if either you didn't watch that episode or it's been a while and you don't really remember, it would be great to go back and rewatch it or watch it for the first time and kind of get an idea of what we're talking about, because we went through it all in the last episode.
Yes, yeah, we won't do that again tonight. We shared lots of thoughts on that, and then ended up with these 4 recipes that we shared that we thought, would form a really good basis on different images that you could take. And we started out with Reggie's Portrait and one of my favorites, Aquachrome RS100. But those weren't everything. We also had some some recipes for some older cameras.
Yeah, so X-Trans 3, XT3, XT30, you could use the classic slide, also the Ilford Delta push process. And that's a fun recipe. It's a little bit challenging because of the high ISO. But yeah, it was, I think that's a good set right there for storytelling photography. And I hope that you guys were able to use those recipes and see if you like them, if you didn't, where you thought they did well, where you didn't think they did well, and all that kind of stuff. And if you do have some thoughts on it, we'd love to hear it. You can type it in the comments. Let us know which one of those was your favorite, which one you found most challenging, and that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. We want to hear from you, which ones you particularly liked, and which not. I thought that the mix was really nice to have a little bit, something a little bit warmer, something for every day, something with a bit more of an edge to it. And then obviously also an iconic black and white recipe.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think black and white was really a favorite. Looking at all the different images that we received, there were a lot of black and white ones this time around. So seems to be doing well in storytelling.
Yep.
Alrighty, yo. And what else we got? So not only do we give you suggestions to recipes that you could use, but we also extended a little bit for those who are hungrier for more. You can join the challenge and, like I said, not only shoot recipes, but also add, like we said, a layered composition, so you can add a bit more depth into your story, or to top it up with an emotion. So you're looking for highly emotionally charged images or scenes where you get reaction, or like we say, elicit emotions out of the people who see them.
Yeah, so not only did we go through storytelling, but then we challenge you to shoot with the recipes, and we did it ourselves as well. And the first level challenge was to use the film simulation recipes that we suggested to tell stories with. And then the second challenge for those who wanted more was to try layered compositions with your storytelling. And then the bonus challenge, or the higher end challenge for those really brave was to try and capture emotion somehow within your storytelling photography.
Yes. So should we see how we all did there? Let's have a look.
Mm-hmm.
We selected a couple of recipes. You can, like I said, you can see the entirety of submissions in the viewer slideshow. That's also on this channel. But we selected one image each for the different recipes, where we thought, the image was a good representation of what the recipe can offer. And let's start out with our first one, and that was Reggie's Portrait. What do you think
So David
most?
Yeah, so David Horn sent us this one, and it shows it in a very warm lighting situation, and it does create a warm image. But if it had been a different recipe, it might have been a lot more warm. And Reggie's Portrait does a good job of keeping that in check for the most part. But what I like about it is just the movement, the people going back and forth, the depth of it, and also you have those lit posters in the background. And I think the recipe is a challenging situation that is being photographed there, and I think the recipe did a good job of handling it all.
Yes, definitely. I also enjoy it. And yeah, the posters in the background make it so vivid and lively. A nice, very nice capture. And then we had a submission from Enrico in Aquachrome RS100. Like I said, I've got a thing for for kind of look, and I enjoyed the yeah, just the combination between the sky and then the reds that this recipe really renders particularly interesting. So that stands out for me. So I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, and definitely you can see how it's a bit of an overcast day, and you see how the recipe handles that.
Yeah, I love it. Very nice.
And then Jorge had sent us this black and white Ilford Delta Push process image, and I just love the bicycles along the fence and the boots on the fence post and stuff, and and just the design of the composition on it. But you can see how that recipe, can take what might be an otherwise kind of bland lighting or something like that, and turn it into a more dramatic picture.
Yes, I think the scene really lends itself so well for black and white,
Mhm.
and it really makes you focus on this actually really bizarre scene of a fence
Yes.
lined up with these bicycles, and then what are shoes like on top of the fence poles, which is really interesting. Jorge, in case you're watching, or if you're not watching live and you know watching this now, whatever, can you please explain to us where you found this and if there's any backstory to this image? Because it's very interesting, very entertaining, but most importantly, really well captured. So
Yeah.
thank you. All right, and then for the last of our 4 recipes, we also had classic slide. And I absolutely love this image because of the colors. It really, the yellow, the blue, and the green in the distance are, so complementary and really, underline the strength of the feel for this recipe, I think. And I really enjoyed shooting it as well because it's, so different and really very versatile, I felt.
Yeah. Yeah, that recipe did such a great job in this environment here, and I like the picture, for the same reasons you mentioned. And also, I used to work for the Union Pacific Railroad many years ago, so there's kind of that connection to it as well.
Nice. Yeah, so well done. A nice rounding up of our recipes and the first part of our.
Hmm.
So thanks to everyone for submitting those images. And then we had our second part, which is the layered composition, a bit more of a deeper dive into storytelling. So
Hmm.
we pointed out different ways and different things about composition in our theme show. So go back and check that out. But we just challenged you to have a bit more of a look at what it is that you're photographing and incorporating a foreground and a background. So, I think this first submission by Dan Allen is a really good example of
Yeah,
that.
because you have like you have multiple layers here. You have the mirror, you have the parking lot, you have the pole that you see in the mirror, and then you have the scene behind that in the mirror with a person on the bench. So many layers, and I just really like the scene and the way that it's all composed, and so the what's really interesting to me is the water is level, right? And of course, if it wasn't, it would look like it's pouring out. But what that created was the parking lot outside of the mirror being at this angle, which causes like some tension. And so I think it's really interesting.
Yes, there's one. At first, you just see the image in the mirror. And then when you look at
Hmm.
it a little bit longer, you're like, hold on, there's a heck of a lot going on in this picture. So, yeah, it keeps you definitely interested. So, a very important thing in photography to keep your viewer interested. So well done, Dan.
Yep.
Nice photograph. Obviously in our awesome black and white,
Yep.
which is, I think especially for this scene, one more thought is that, it really makes you focus even more on the situation because you don't have the distraction of color in it. So,
Yeah.
nice. But then we also had a submission from Torsten with this Reggie's portrait. And I think it's a super interesting scene. And also so many different things happening in this market. And I absolutely love the look on this girl's face in the background.
Yeah, so you have the foreground, and you see that there's this marketplace thing going on, and a transaction of some sort or something, and then the person in the background is I don't know what they're thinking or feeling or something, but they're definitely looking suspiciously on the whole thing. So
yes, yeah, something like, I wanted to buy this ring or something, or maybe something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I have to quickly send our apologies because this image was submitted by Torsten Scholz, and we have a spelling mistake in his last name.
Oh.
Sorry about that. We have the right name in the slideshow, so if you want to watch this, see this image again in the viewer slideshow, we have definitely the right name on it.
And definitely take a look at that video. And that we can't put all of the pictures in the show. So all the ones that get submitted do go into the viewer slideshow. So you want to watch that when you have the opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And I think the fast fingers in the background are busy amending this mistake, if I see that.
Oh.
Because the presentation quickly.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you so much. The joys of live stream can also be that you are extremely flexible. So thank you for adjusting that so quickly. All right, but we have one more image in our layered composition. And I must admit that is my favorite. I think it's absolutely amazing, but I'll let you go first, Ritchie, if you want.
Yeah, so Stephen Wells captured this image, submitted it, and at first it's like, okay, it's a baseball game, maybe the opening ceremonies, but you start paying a little closer attention, you realize that they're facing the flag that's at the back right corner of the image, and maybe it's the national anthem or something like that, and you have these four sets of people facing the flag, and to add just a little bit more texture and layer to it, there's also the foreground net that's easy to overlook. But so you have all of these layers, and then just sneakily there on the right hand side is the flag that completes the story.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I love the rows of people and the way it's like it makes me look at all the different layers so many times, and my eyes keep on circling around this image. And I think it's got so much. To me, it's got a lot of tension to it, especially because of the flag. It would be totally different if that wasn't there, but the flag in the background really, can I say, it knocks it out of the ballpark.
Nice.
Yeah. So I really, really enjoyed it a lot, and the tones are just superb. So well
it's
done.
A home run by Stephen Wells.
Yes, it is. So thank you so much for that one. Great stuff. So that's the stuff that stories are made of. And while we're in the swing of things, I think we should see what we got up to, Ritchie. Since, we also challenge ourselves like we said we would, and shoot those recipes and the themes and the challenges alongside with you. And let's have a look what Ritchie got up to. He was looking for gold. I want to know found any.
No, no. So there is a lot of gold in Arizona, and it's was part of the gold rush and all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, you can go to some different touristy attractions and pretend to pan for gold and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
with this, I used the classic slide recipe, which kept the image from becoming overly warm. And then you see the sign that gives you a clue of what's really going on, and then you see in the background that there's these kids, my kids, taking their hand at trying to find gold. So
Yes, very nice. I love it. Love it. Very nice indeed. I wish you'd found some gold though, but then maybe you
yeah.
wouldn't. So glad you did. All right, and I got caught in the rain and ended up wet, and yeah, but I was happy enough that when the rain stopped, the sun came out, and I managed to, go down low and capture a little bit of after the rain story. I think I should have not blurred out the background all that much, so that the woman who was standing there was a little bit more visible. I think that would have made for a stronger layered composition. But yeah, but this is my
Well,
attempt.
and that's the thing is each exposure is an opportunity to learn something, whether it was a great picture or not a great picture or in between somewhere. There's always a lesson to be learned. So it's always good to look at your pictures with a little bit of a critical eye, just to see what you could have done better, and maybe try and do that in the future.
Yes, you live and learn all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get scared too.
Yeah, and that was the emotion that I was trying to get in this picture, and it wasn't captured at Halloween. Um, so we're back to David's picture here, and two of Natalie. So
Clearly something going on. We never get bored and live streams.
yeah.
Sure, we will be right back at your image, eliciting emotion.
Yep.
There we go.
Here we are. That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't captured at Halloween. It was actually like an artist's scene that somebody created. But yeah, it's definitely, to me, it brings like fear or anxiety of some sort. So that was the emotion I was going for.
Yes. Yeah, it's quite. I dig the. I think it's a pumpkin head in the foreground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some sort of pumpkin head puppet of some sort.
Yeah. Although I did think it was a Halloween installation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it, but yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
I think it's like set up year round, and yeah. Anyway.
Nice. Very nice indeed. And then I did a little bit of a black and white exploring in church. In the Dome of Cologne, actually, that I went to. It's huge, and there are masses of people walking around all the time. It's quite impressive to see. And yeah. And at first I was a bit apprehensive to take photographs because there was a bit of a service going on. But then you realize that it actually is very touristy and that a lot of people are taking pictures. So I'm glad.
Okay. It's a very beautiful image, and especially suits the black and white recipe well.
Yeah, it definitely. Well, it definitely, is a good way to try out 12,800 ISO. A kind of a dimly lit dome. It was great. No hesitation in going up to that level in this image. So yeah, these were the emotion images that we took, and let's have a look how our viewers translated those, because we found some in amongst them as well. And the first image was from Amaryllis LaChapelle. She captured this person in what looks like the pouring rain. So when I see this, I'm immediately wet and cold.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder the story. Is it somebody who's just so determined that they're going to, maybe they're training for something and they're just so determined, or is it somebody who's like going through like a really hard time and when it rains it pours, kind of thing, and you just wonder the story behind it, but it just brings up so many emotions when you view the image. It's really well done.
Yeah, extremely well done. Thank you, Amaryllis. And then we have this image, a submission from Matthew, and somewhere a little bit closer to my home, and I can kind of relate to those kinds of scenes. But it is, to me, it is a really, happy and a scene that makes you think at the same time. It's kind of like, these guys that are playing with, toys where in other parts of the world, boys would be playing with other toys.
Yeah. So you see the just the pure joy in the expressions and stuff, and you realize that they're just having fun. Right. And then you think a little bit more and you're like, well, like you said, these wouldn't be typical toys in other parts of the country. This might be considered, the trash or something, old tires or whatever it is. And so that brings a whole different set of emotions. So you kind of come at it with one set of emotions and you kind of leave with a whole different set of emotions. But it's a beautiful picture. I love it.
Yeah, it is beautifully captured. Yes. To me, the guy is not wearing shoes. It's kind of like, well, yeah, that's what happens here. Kids run around with no shoes on. But I think for the rest of the world, that's not necessarily, or for many other countries, that's not the norm. But anyway, actually, the smile of the guy on the left, it just does it for me. It's just like it couldn't. So that's nice. So thank you, Matthew. It's a really, really great, a great capture indeed. And we have some comments. There's Enrico. Who says that it started raining. Yeah, I'm not surprised. These clouds are quite hectic. So I hope.
That recipe did really well in that situation, and I hope you enjoyed using it. But thanks for giving us a little bit of background on the image. And you think of a day at the beach or something. I think that's the beach. Think of a day at the beach of being like endless sun and everything, but that's not always the case for sure.
Yeah, it's nice. I actually quite enjoy unbeach weather, beach days, when you think it's not the day to go to the beach, and then you have like this totally different experience, like rain, and you can capture other scenes, and I enjoy that. So so thank you very much, Enrico, for sharing this with us. And Enrico is, in the seat for the comments. So thank you for sharing all this with. Yes, like we said already, we absolutely love this, and
it is indeed very interesting.
So in the Netherlands. So I wonder. I don't know where he's located, but maybe he is in the Netherlands. Bo, if you know where this could be, or if it resembles an area that then.
Or if you know why people would put their bikes along the fence and put their boots on the posts, yes. Definitely give us some background on that. What you know.
Yes. It's cool. It's very cool. Thank you guys for your comments. And then there is Dan, who's here. Thank you. The mesh.
Well, I think he's talking about the baseball picture.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The baseball picture. The baseball.
Not quite this one either. That one. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
That's the one.
Yeah. And
yes.
a layer. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think I can just sit and look at this. It kind of like, I mean, I don't know baseball, and I don't live in the States, but it definitely has this, kind of like 1960s feel, and it makes me want to be patriotic. I think.
Well, yeah. So it could fit in with something like the Americans. That famous book, or something like that. It could be like you go to Barnes and Noble maybe, and go to the bookstore and find a photo book by somebody showing historical photos that are interesting, and this could be one of them in there. So
100%. Definitely. Very cool. Thank you, guys. It's so good to connect with you again, and to see your comments. It's kind of like, it's almost like meeting up with old friends again. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And we have some poll results. So we hope that you got a chance to vote. And yes, we apologize once again, officially even. And it's on record. Thank you for forgiving us. We appreciate it, and thank you for taking part in our polls. And maybe have a poll about our polls also.
Yeah. Do you like the polls?
But how did you like the storytelling challenge? Some people thought they got really stuck into it, and others felt they got pushed into it. No, it pushed them, as in like the challenge challenged them, which I think is kind of like the point. So I'm happy to hear.
I felt like that one, the second response, good but tough. It pushed me. I kind of felt that while doing it. So
yes, and it's also sometimes you realize you can't rush a specific image. I feel like I often look at my images foreground and background, and I often try to incorporate a foreground into it, which is kind of like where I was thinking that, we should definitely do that for storytelling. And then once it was like out in the open, it's like, now you need to find a foreground. I just like couldn't. It was like almost too much in my head. That was a bit weird. But yeah, it's definitely good to consciously try and create some images. It's also to start to kind of like give yourself a task, not just go out there and shoot whatever is pretty or what catches your attention.
Sometimes having that mission, is really good for having that challenge improves your photography. I think if you can take and restrict yourself in some way, if you can take an element away and really confine yourself, that it pushes you to become better.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Excellent. So if you guys have any more questions, any comments, shoot them our way. We're all yours.
Yep. This is your opportunity. We're here for you to answer your questions, to talk about the things that you want us to talk about. If there's something you want to discuss, something with the new gear that was announced, or with the app. Hi, Joe. It's good to see you here. Definitely. This is your opportunity. We're here for you, and so fire away in the comments. Anything you want us to discuss.
Yes, please do. It's interesting that we feel there are so many people that have questions, which is why we created that space. And we thought we have a lot more time and, need to go through a lot more questions. But it seems like a lot of the conversation is done around the images, the submissions. So there's always so much to talk about. And it's nice. I'm very happy that we have the space,
Yes.
to look at the images and to really appreciate what's being done. And once you see that in connection with the challenge, you also realize how good the images actually are, because when you're in those shoes, then it's in that time frame where you have to create these images, you realize it's not that easy always.
Yep. And so, the star of the show is the photographs. It's just, we're photographers. So everything's about cameras and film simulation recipes and all that stuff. So ultimately, the star of the show is the photos, and that's my favorite part, and I think it's the audience's favorite part, and that's really amazing that we can do that. And I think in past shows, we've had a lot of questions and been able to have some really good discussions, and maybe also when we're able to answer those questions, in past shows, then those questions aren't needed anymore because they've been answered. But we're always here to answer your questions. So if you don't have one right now, that's okay. If you think of one later, just hit us up, and we'd be happy to answer it offline or answer it in the next show or however it is. Because sometimes that's how the shows come about. Is somebody asks a question in a previous show, and then we build on that and do a bigger production of it.
Yes, exactly. And there is a question from Torsten. He says, what do you think about the delivery difficulties of the newly announced products by Fuji? Well, do you have a thought on that, Ritchie?
Well, it seems to be pretty much par for the course, not just for Fujifilm, but for all the camera makers. And I think they're still dealing with like the global part shortage. It's still affecting them in some ways. It's my understanding that Fujifilm made quite a few bodies of the XS20, and that they sold them out. So there's obviously a demand for that camera, that people are excited for it, and they bought it up on the pre-order day. So, I think the other side of it is, people have been wanting a X100V for a long time, and they've had a lot of trouble getting those into the stores to get into the hands of the people who ordered them. And same for the XE4, but they discontinued that one. I think there's a demand for Fujifilm, and if there is anything that they could do to increase production, and maybe that's a long process it's not something you snap your fingers and magically make happen. But if there's some way that they could focus on making more bodies, or more of the things that are selling out so quickly, that they would do themselves a favor, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of the times at the moment as well, with, a knock-on effect of COVID and, the other shortages, chip shortages, etc. Just so many things coming together, and it's not only in the camera sector, but it's, all over. Everything is really affected by it. So it's just, maybe it's time for us to realize that, not everything is available all the time. I wish it wouldn't affect the pricing so much, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I'm sure Fujifilm would love to sell a lot more, have a lot more cameras to sell, and bring to the market. But yeah, we'll see how the next couple of months go, and if we are able to, balance things out a little bit more, hopefully.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thoughts on the new phone app? Well, I do.
You have a little more experience than I do with it. Yeah.
Well, I've used it with 2 cameras so far. I used it with my X-T5, and I used it with the XS20 that I had. I must say that I thought it was really nice and easy to use and to install. They did a great job with the instructions as to how to connect, because I think that was a bit difficult previously. I also really struggled with the app in recent times with the old one. So, it would disconnect quickly and it was, slow to response. And with the new one, I didn't have that. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the new interface. I enjoyed the added activity section. It's, just nice. And, that they added the film simulations with the film rolls and stuff. So it feels like they, are also embracing that a bit more. And so it looks nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch where it tells you what film simulations that you, not recipes, but film simulations that you most often use. You can kind of keep track of that. I've only been able to connect my X100V because I haven't updated the firmware on my other models to allow them to be able to connect to the app. And that's something I need to do. I just haven't had time. But the X100V is, it connected the first try. I've not had any problems. It's worked first try every time. So that's very positive. I think another feature that hasn't really been talked about that could potentially be interesting is that you can save backups of your settings, right? And just it's a global backup, so it's like everything, right? But I think if you were to put in the time, you could potentially have a backup with 7 specific recipes programmed into your C1 through C7. Or I guess if you have an XS10 or XS20, it's C1 through C4. But you could have that, and then you could reprogram the camera, put in 7 different recipes, and save that. And you could save a bunch of these, and you can custom name them. So you could have like your summer set or your night set or whatever it is. You could have different ones, and then you can just restore those through your phone. I mean, I don't know if that's a good. I assume that could be a useful feature, but it may take quite a bit of time and effort and everything to initially set up.
It sounds really interesting, though. Yeah. Enrico says he's tried to back up and restore. It seems to not save the recipes.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, I wonder what the benefit of it would be then. Huh.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for trying that.
Yes, I actually think now that Enrico says that, because you have that same feature in the X Acquire, you can also make a backup and save that. So I assume it's the same kind of principle, and it did not save the settings in the Q menu. So it must be the same kind of software that they're running there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not as useful as I thought. So thanks for reporting that.
Yeah. So you go and save all different backups. At least
it saved me a whole bunch of time there. So thanks, Enrico.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. And the X100V is very expensive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's crazy how much they're selling for because nobody can get their hands on it. Even the older models, even like, the original X100 is selling for, $600-800, stuff like that. It's crazy. The XE4, since it's been discontinued, I've seen it selling for $500 above MSRP. Yeah, so it's pretty wild. But yeah, the older cameras, there's some good older cameras that can be found for less money, and they still function very well. They're still good models.
Yeah, definitely. And Bo traded in his XH1 for an XT1 and a 27mm. Any general guidelines to adapt recipes for newer sensors to that of the X-Trans 2?
Yeah, so if you're talking about like X-Trans 3 recipes, making them compatible on X-Trans 2 cameras, I think the the first thing to note is that the X Trans 2 is a little bit warmer. So you're going to have to change the white balance shift to adjust for that. And also the plus, or it's the curve is a little different on it. And also the +1 isn't the same as exactly +1 on X Trans 3. I think if you were to compare like +1, +2 versus +1 and +2 on X Trans 3, you'll see that on X Trans 2, it's more equivalent to about 1.25 on X Trans 3, if that makes any sense. So it's not exactly, you can, if you play around with it enough, you can get somewhat close in some of the recipes, but it's hard to match it up exactly. But what I will say is on X Trans 2, you have the X Trans 2 recipes, but also try X Trans 1 recipes. They render just slightly different, but they can still look really good. And also the Bayer recipes. The classic chrome, especially is for Bayer cameras, works really well on X Trans 2.
Yes. So you're talking about especially the shadows and highlights on X Trans 2 versus X Trans 3.
Yeah, shadows, highlights, even color. It's not sharpness and noise reduction. It's not a one for one. It's a little bit different in how, like, +2 is not the same on X Trans 2 as it is on X Trans 3.
Yeah, nothing quite like trial and error, though.
Yes.
Shame, William is explaining that he's been home a great deal, taking care of an elderly parent. This was very challenging. Shame, yes. And
well, you'll be glad that you spent the time. It says powerfully personal. This is the timing was right for this challenge for you, and just hold on to those pictures. They're going to be very, very valuable to you in the future, just personally valuable to you. And so it's so awesome that you're able to do that.
Yeah. Yes, it is. There's nothing quite like time spent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, William. And if you want to see his images, go and watch the slideshow. They're very powerful black and white images that William shared with us. And and here's a big up to Matthew by Bo. Thank you so much. Again, this great image that Matthew submitted.
Mm-hmm. It is a great story.
Excellent. All right.
Okay.
I think we are probably at the end, or maybe we have another comment there. Let's just have a look.
Oh.
We've seen that, but I don't mind to look at it again. It's such a great picture.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's good.
And yes, Dan's picture was great too. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So again, another super round of images. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to, submit them and to share them with us. And Bo is saying the landscape is very flat. And the Netherlands have a lot of bikes.
I love it. Yeah. Mostly keep the boots on though,
Yes. So the mystery is still not lifted.
Yep.
Maybe we can see. So what's the new challenge going to be? Alrighty, Bo, you have to wait, but not very long at all, because we will be starting the new theme just now, in just under an hour, actually, where we, stream the...
So if you can, stick around, don't go anywhere. And in about 55 minutes, we'll start the next show, the next episode, and then you'll find out.
Exactly. Yes. You should definitely stick around for that one. But before we go there, we want to appreciate everyone who submitted images, and we will see who tonight's winner is of the 12th fantastic Fuji X Weekly app. Everyone who submitted is on this wheel, and we will draw a winner. Shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Alrighty-o. And we have the new winner. Oh, that was close.
That was close. It's Dan. Yay.
Congratulations,
So,
Dan.
Yeah, Dan will reach out. We'll be in touch very shortly, and I believe you already have a subscription, but we'll definitely work something out for you, and it'll be good. So
yeah. Thank you so much for your submission, and thanks to everyone for submitting your images with us. It's been absolutely phenomenal, and it's, as always, a special treat to see them all. So if you haven't won this time around, just carry on. I'm sure you'll get another chance very soon in our next challenge. So let's...
Or if you won in the past, but we never got in touch and never got you your prize, just reach out and we'll make it. We'll work it out.
Yes. So if there are still some unclaimed prizes, you can go and check it out on the sooc.live website. We are listing all the winners with the images there as well. So if you're not quite sure, you can go have a peep. And if you find your name, go make contact with us. And but otherwise, this is it for this episode. We are going to go live in an hour's time, like we said, at
on the top of the hour.
On the top of the hour. In now 53 minutes, we'll be back and we will start a new theme, and that is nothing other than the hot topic about AI and ChatGPT. And we've got some awesome stuff in store for you. So please make sure to stick around, join us, go get something to eat, have a drink, have a run around.
Watch the viewer's image slideshow.
Yes, definitely, if you haven't yet. And then we will see you again shortly.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Ritchie. It's been great. It's been wonderful to get warmed up and back into the swing of things.
Yep.
Enjoyed the show. Make sure that you give us the thumbs up, subscribe to the new channel, and let's grow it. Share it with others who may also enjoy the content on this channel. It would help us a great deal.
Yep.
And it's time to say goodbye.
But not for long.
But not for long. Yes, Simon, I'm sorry that you couldn't be there, but maybe next time around we will, organize something a little bit closer to your home, and then we can, do it again. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And and we will see you shortly. Thanks, Ritchie. Thanks to everyone.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. There we go. Ritchie, why don't you say your goodbyes, and then we will round it up.
Bye, Natalie. Bye, Joe. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you shortly.
See you shortly. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.
Good night, and thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy the show.